Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Odin's Movie Blog. I am the critic who is a cynic. How is everyone doing this evening? And welcome to the One Man Low Council. Happy Tuesday to everyone out there. Hope everyone is doing well. We got a lot of things to talk about tonight. One, of course, is the Joker box office, which is just doing incredibly well. Last time I checked, it was well over $500 million at this point. And based on the maths, that's right, everyone loves some good maths every now and then. Based on the maths, if my calculations are correct, the film will range somewhere between $900 and $1.1 billion. $900 million to $1.1 billion by the end of its run. And the fact that all of that is without China is extremely impressive. Now, whether China decides to come in at the last minute and have a couple screenings, I don't know. But even if they don't, the fact that they could potentially reach China, or rather they could potentially reach $1 billion without China, is pretty damn impressive. And in fact, you know what? I want them to. I would love for Joker to be one of the first films to release, not in China, to reach $1 billion as a rated R film, as just a film in general. I think that would be freaking awesome. So we're going to talk about that, of course, and any questions you might have about that. But also something that my Valkyrie just reminded me of, and it's something that I was actually informed about yesterday via email, is that AMC, the movie theater chain here in the United States, has just released today a new on-demand service. So now you can rent and buy movies from AMC Theaters app directly. I'm not exactly sure if you have to be an AMC Stubs member. I don't think you do. Maybe you do for now in the very beginning process. But the prediction that I made several months back, that we are seeing ourselves moving into the streaming wars, and that eventually you will have movies that will indeed just go straight to the streaming service. Netflix has already shown that, but even bigger studios like Disney, like Warner Brothers, and all these giant behemoths will eventually not even have theatrical releases anymore because it costs so much in order to put a film out in theaters versus putting it on your own streaming service. It cuts a lot of red tape. It cuts a lot of it cuts a lot of profit share margins too. And the fact that you have a movie chain now moving in that direction, with AMC being, of course, the biggest movie chain here in the United States, that is gigantic news. That is a key indication that they see the writing on the wall. They know if they don't start this now, that they themselves will very quickly become irrelevant. And I honestly think that what they're doing right now is they are trying to diversify with the hopes that if eventually certain theaters, or rather certain movie studios, begin to hold on to their properties and not give theatrical releases to them, that they will still be able to make profits off of movie rentals and movie purchases through their own service. I think it's interesting. I think that it's a game changer. I would not be surprised if you see other theater chains like Regal, for example, follow suit. Remember, it was not long after, about maybe a year or so after the AMC Stubs A-List started, that you had, actually probably even longer than that at this point, but the A-List program, where you had Regal come out with something similar because they knew that they had to compete as well. And now you've got the competition wars. So it's truly insane. So they don't have a streaming service per se, right? You still have to buy and rent individual titles. But the fact that AMC is diving into this is interesting. And to me, as an AMC A-List subscriber, what I'm really hoping is that they're able to make certain deals so that with my AMC subscription, I get special access, right? Or maybe it could be where I have 3 movies, right? I have 3 movies I can see every week. Imagine if they say one of those you can use to purchase a film. That would be a game changer. I don't think they will, because it would probably make them lose a lot of money, but I'm very excited by the prospect. Obviously, it's brand new. I'm sure they're working out kinks. I have not purchased or rented a movie through the AMC app yet to say how it works, but I do know that they are already offering people the ability to download it onto their phone or onto their device, so that way you can have offline viewing. So that's already a huge step. Many services like Netflix and Hulu, it took them a long time to eventually get to that point. So it's interesting. It's incredibly, it's exciting times, I would say, as a movie lover, even as dark as the movie world really is right now, with all of the crap films we've been getting and the giant studios taking over. But there is also some excitement going on too. So when we can go positive, we indeed stay positive. But anyway, welcome every single person in there. So let's go ahead and get started with the chat. So Micah Martinez says, I really like the new redesign of Sonic, but I feel like the film's plot will suck, but that's just me. I'm the same way. Do I have high hopes the film will be good? Not really. I don't have very high hopes for the film being good. But even with that being said, I think that there is still a chance, right? I think that there's definitely still a chance that it could potentially be entertaining enough, right? That it might be able to fit into this family film category where it's not just going lowest common denominator by going for just for the kids, right? But instead going for a broader audience. It could go in that direction. If it decides to go in that direction, that to me would make the film much more worthy of seeing. I'm just glad the director came out and said, hey, we made a mistake. Let's go ahead and fix it. They seem to have fixed the problem based on the leaks, if the leaks indeed are true. And hey, looks like we're getting a film in February that I would not have seen otherwise. I had no interest in seeing it. But because the director's come out and said, hey, I made a mistake, I'm going to change, guess what? Now I have more respect for that person because there's so many other people in Hollywood that could really learn a lesson from that, right? And also, I was mentioning the Joker box office. So currently speaking, as of today, the Joker's box office is up to $556.6 million. That's incredibly good for a rated R film, for a DC Comics film. This film, I predict that by the end of this coming weekend, even with Disney's heavy hitting, and I say heavy hitting with quotations, Maleficent, which I can't see doing well. I mean, again, they could easily prove me wrong there, but I just cannot see the Maleficent doing very well because I don't know anyone that really wants to see it. I don't know anyone that really was asking for that movie to get a sequel, right? And I'm just amazed that they were making a sequel. Like, in my mind, I still remember the old school, the old school film where it just ended, right? It doesn't make any sense. Right now, we're not getting any box office forecasting, at least at this point in time, for the movies that are coming out this weekend. Let me try and see if I can find something. So here's the latest. Actually, we do have some openings. So the opening, the opening for Maleficent, Mistress of Evil is set to be around $40 to $55 million. With a total domestic forecast of 120. Keep in mind that Joker just passed around 200 million domestically. That's huge. That's gigantic. Mistress of Evil only getting 40 to 55, and let's say it underperforms, because again, that's a range. What if it underperforms? What if Joker continues to overperform? If Joker has another drop like it had last weekend where it's only 40 to 50%, that means the film's going to make around $26 million. And so you look at a film like Maleficent, and you look at a film that will barely get number one against Joker's third week out. Compare that to Zombieland 2. Zombieland 2 is set for 25 to 34 million. There is a world where Joker could potentially get, if not third place, is pretty much guaranteed at this point. It will definitely get third at least. But there is a good chance that Joker, as a rated R film, gets second place in its third week out. And if Maleficent plummets, if the kids don't show up, if the families don't show up, which I think they will because Disney has shown a very strong control over them, but also we could have a situation where, like we had with Alice in Wonderland, right? When Alice in Wonderland, the first film made $1 billion, did very well, and then the second film just sucked. The second film just did not do well at all. Could this be in that situation where the film does not make as much as the first film did? I kind of hope it does. It's a sequel that no one asked for, in my opinion. I mean, obviously they made enough money to justify making a sequel, but I still think it's interesting nonetheless. In fact, you know what? I'm going to go ahead and pull that up because you know what? We do this stuff live, man. We do this stuff live. That is what we do. That is what we do. The one thing I will say about StreamYards that I've been getting used to that's really nice is that it's very easy to share your screen in that one. I know you can share your screen on this one. I just don't have the mental capacity for it. So the first Maleficent film, okay, yeah, so this makes sense. So the first Maleficent film made $758 million. So that's pretty impressive on a $180 million budget, which is overpaying. It cost almost $200 to make that first film. Damn, son. Wow. So they made about $750 million. Let's assume, diminishing returns, it makes about half of that. That would make it closer to what, 350, 360-ish million dollars worldwide, if it's lucky. That's not good. And the production budget went up. That film probably cost at least $200 million to make at this point. So not looking good. So Disney has had a lot of big hits this year. I don't think Maleficent 2 is going to be able to get there. I don't know. What say you? I'd love to hear your thoughts about that in the chat. But interesting, 40 to 55 million is the projection for the domestic opening of Maleficent 2, Mistress of Evil. And as I said, Joker had a 43% drop from week 1 to week 2. It went from roughly 100 million, around 96 million officially, to around $55 million. In fact, let me go ahead and see if I can find the official numbers on that, because we had just had projections up at that point. So let's see what boxofficemojo.com says, the full daily chart. So let's see, Joker. See, Joker for the weekend, it made 55.8. So the number has not since been adjusted. So it went from 96 to 55. If it has a similar drop and doesn't lose any theaters, which it might lose a couple with these new movies coming out, that means the film will make roughly $25 to $30 million. And if, as I said before, Maleficent is in that 40 to 55 million and it underperforms, that would not be good for Disney. That's for damn sure. Heading over to D-Live for a second. Let's see. Captain Dean Heiss. What's going on, Captain Dean Heiss? Welcome. Sir Wiggy McSwiggity. That is wonderful. That's a wonderful name. Captain Dean Heiss says, so who exactly was asking for Maleficent 2? That's a great question. I don't know of anyone that was asking for it. There might be some people in the chat. Maybe people in the chat who have kids or who are drawn to the family-friendly Disney films, which I know there are. I mean, I tend to be drawn to them too when they're not just for kids and when they're meant for the entire family. But yeah, I don't know. I don't know who would be asking for it at this point. It really doesn't make any sense. All right, jumping back over to YouTube for a second. Very sorry indeed about all the commentary, but you know what? Hey, this is stuff that I love. I love talking box office, and when it comes to AMC, you all know I used to work at an AMC. I got a lot of love for AMC. I got some criticisms of AMC as well. I was a keyboard warrior back in the day when they changed the AMC Movie Watchers program to the AMC Subs program. The only thing that got me through is the fact that they offered me a free year of the AMC Subs program. And I ended up realizing that it was still beneficial to me. It was not as good as it was before, but it was still beneficial to me. But before I get to the chat, Riff Magos, thank you very much for the $3 donation. Thank you very much, man. He says, hello, Odin. I hope you're well. I'm glad I can catch a live stream. Glad you can catch one too, man. I feel like it's been a while. Hope you are doing just fine. And thank you again for that donation. I really do appreciate it. All right, Tina says, my TV version of YouTube was about to show a 10-minute ad before your stream. Are they out of their minds? That's pretty crazy. Yeah, I don't know what... I can't control what ads play. I can control what type of ads play, and I always have skippable ads on. So, so luckily, hopefully, you were able to skip that. Tommy says, greetings, Odin. Hope all is well. Hope all is well with you as well. Alice McCarthy also says, howdy, Odin. How's it going? I've got Smallville on the TV, my all-time favorite show. Smallville is a very good show. Smallville was solid. That it might be one of the only aspects of Crisis on Infinite Earths that I'm actually interested in are what characters from Smallville are going to be brought in. There's also, they've just released in a trailer, apparently, they've leaked this, that there's going to be a reference to Michael Keaton's Batman in Crisis on Infinite Earths. That's really cool. That is really cool. Is it going to be enough for me to jump into those series? Probably not. I would say that I'm interested enough in this series of events that's going to happen in the fall, I'm imagining, because I think the process of filming is still happening right now. So I'm assuming the episodes won't come out until actually, no. What am I thinking? We're already in the fall. Probably won't come out until spring, summer, next fall at the latest, right? And so I'm interested in at least checking it out. A hell of a lot more interested than watching anything that Batwoman's doing. Let's see. Super Anime Gamer says, "Hello, what is up, my dude? How are you doing? I'm doing just fine. Also, if you're a fan of the podcast, if you like to listen back to these as podcast form, I went through about 3 weeks of shows and uploaded them in succession. So if you follow the podcast, I'm sorry, because you just got inundated with a crap ton of episodes. But also, if you follow my secondary channel, Welcome to Asgard, I saw a bunch of people unsubscribed, and I don't blame you, because you literally got about 10 plus uploads in about a 10-minute period, and they were all just episodes. So the reason why is because I use redcircle.com is the site I use to host my podcast, to host the files as podcasts. And they have an option where you can upload it to YouTube as a podcast. And I'm like, oh, that sounds like a pretty neat idea. And so that's what I'm going to start to do. I'm going to start to hopefully be a little bit more time sensitive and actually get these up as podcasts more quickly and not build up a giant catalog. Hopefully having just a Tuesday and Saturday stream will make that a lot easier. But I did want to say sorry for destroying anyone's podcast feeds lately. HyperNex13 says, happy to see Joker doing well. Fun fact, the budget cost lower than Unbreakable. Crazy, right? Also, in other news, Zoe Kravitz is Catwoman. Any thoughts? I don't know. Yeah, so getting into your first point about the budget, yeah, $55 million. And keep in mind that Unbreakable, when you adjust for inflation, might be a little bit more than that. I don't remember the official budget for Unbreakable, but because of inflation, it's going to be more than what it says on paper. The fact remains this. It doesn't matter how much that movie costs because this movie is making crap tons of money. The fact that a $55 million budget could yield a film that's close to $1 billion is unheard of. Not just a film that's close to $1 billion, a rated R movie. This film is set to break records, man. This film is set to set a new standard that, hey, guess what? You can make a rated R movie, you can make a good movie, and it can feature a comic character, and you can still make money off of it. What I'm really hoping is that what they're able to do with this is they're able to take this, they're able to realize what fans want, and give fans what they want. If they're able to do that, great. Here's my fear. My fear is that they will see the cash, and then they will try and abuse the cash, which is the more likely scenario that's going to happen because this is what's always happened, right? You had Avatar, which you all know my opinions on Avatar. The effects were pretty groundbreaking for the time. They also utilized 3D in a very unique way. But what happened from that? Everyone saw, oh, this movie made over $2 billion. Oh, they used 3D. Oh, in my brain, I think that must mean that 3D is going to make more money. And guess what? For a little while, it did because they were able to charge people up the wazoo. They were able to force theaters to have a certain number at certain times of 3D showings, which really tricked a lot of audiences. There were audiences all the time that would come to see the movie, and I would have to tell them, oh, by the way, that's a 3D showing. And they would say, well, I don't want to see a 3D showing. And I'd say, I'm sorry, but that's the only showing for the next 4 hours. Oh, wow. And they had every right to be upset. They had every right to be critical of that, right? But of course, we had no control over that because the studio dictates the schedule in a lot of ways. But yeah, I'm very happy to see Joker doing as well as it is financially. Definitely glad to see that happening. Digital Diablo, thank you very much for subscribing to the channel. I appreciate that. Let me go ahead and just move that over. That way that can be taken care of. So recently, Streamlabs got an update. I don't know how to feel about it just yet, but so far I like it because I have a lot of control over various things. It's nice. Let's see how long it lasts, though. All right, chat jumped on me, so let's see where we are. So Tommy says at 7:01 in the chat, so I'm about 17 minutes behind. So again, I'm not skipping any comments yet, but sometimes YouTube skips the comments for me. But right now I'm at 7:01 in the chat, where currently in my life it is 7:20, right? It's around 7:20, so I'm about 18 minutes behind, which happens, right? So Tommy says, greetings, Odin, hope all is well. Thank you, Tommy. Thank you very much. Actually, no comments for Skip. Perfect. Alice McCarthy says, I like the sound of that since my back is all FUBAR. Now I'll be able to watch theatrical movies when they come out. Yeah, so I think that is eventually where you'll see that happen, right? That eventually, just like what Netflix is doing right now, right? So Irishman, it's coming to Netflix. I think there's a few limited releases of it theatrically, but even then, the studios are fighting tooth and nail against Netflix because they do not want that film to get any release because that means that the film would not be able to be eligible for Oscars, right? And so basically it's just this, pissing contest about who has more power, and it's sad. It really is sad to see that that's what the current state of our film industry is. But yeah, I think that eventually will be the case, and for people like you that kind of need that, right? That kind of need that ability to watch films in the comfort of your own home because of a medical issue. But at the same time, and I know you could probably attest to this, it will lead other people that don't have that medical need to not ever want to leave their homes. And then guess what we have? Wall-E. Wall-E becomes our future. Aid Vickery says, cinema may change, but will survive. 35 odd years ago, video was going to kill off cinema. The cinema experiences will survive. It will to an extent. Here's the big thing. With the studios now going in the direction of all getting their own streaming service, they can't continue to spend the amount of money that they are on movies, but also they can't afford to charge the amount of money that they are because now people will say, oh, I'm just going to get the Disney streaming service. I'm not going to see your movie in theaters. I can just wait about 2-3 months, and then all of a sudden I'll have access to it as a part of my subscription. I won't have to pay extra for it, and I'll get to see it from the comfort of my home. Because keep in mind, too, that home studios are becoming much more affordable. It is easier than ever to get a 4K television. 4K televisions about 5 years ago were crazy expensive. Now you can get a 50-inch, which is a pretty standard size 4K television, for about $300. I mean, it's becoming so much more affordable to do that. And so I honestly think that because of things like that, because of that issue, that theaters might survive for a little bit, but at the end of the day, at some point, they're going to go the way, in my opinion, of the drive-in, right? You still have them around, but they're specialized and they're very limited. We still love them. We still want to go to them. There's this nostalgia aspect to them, but it's different, right? The only thing that I could think that could ever change it would be if they're hosting a VR hub, because I think that could be a future of film as well, where not only do you watch a film, you become part of one. You become inundated. You literally are seeing everything around you. That could be a future, very similar to the book version of Ready Player One. Ready Player One, the movie, didn't really hit the ball at the park on that one, but I could see that being a future for sure. Tina says that Remember My Fellow Valkyrie is attending a retirement party for a coworker who gave 22 years of service to the community. Yes, indeed. So prayers out to Steph. Hope she's having fun at that event. And thanks to Tina for sticking out. John Early says, "Oh, Father, I was validated recently when my family foolishly bought a Fandango gift card and none of the movie theaters in North Minnesota take Fandango tickets." And that's why Fandango sucks. What's going on, Frank? I saw you in there. Laura says, "I'm going to see Joker again tomorrow. So excited it's doing well." I am too. I really want to find time to be able to go see it again. I still want to see it in IMAX, especially before Maleficent comes out, because it's Disney. And so Disney is going to make them have to show that movie in IMAX. And man, oh man, nothing would make me happier than if Maleficent, Mistress of Evil, completely bombed the box office. You know what would be my favorite thing? You know what would be the best thing that could happen this weekend? Joker comes in at number 1 again in its 3rd week over a Disney movie. That would make me so happy. It's going to be hard. It's not likely because the Disney machine is strong, but man, oh man, would I be happy. Especially since Maleficent, Mistress of Evil probably got a China release. In fact, you know what? I'm going to go ahead and check that right now because I will have a huge gripe. I will have a huge gripe, my friends, if that is the case, because there's something about China, right, where they don't allow films that deal with magic, and yet they've made exceptions for things like Doctor Strange. They probably made exceptions for the first Maleficent, but let me just double check that. So Maleficent 2, Mistress of Evil. Let's go ahead and dive into its release date. So its release date is October 18th. Let's see. Did this film get a... You're darn right it did. So Maleficent, which deals with a sorceress, meaning it deals with magic, gets a China release. But Joker, which is just an adult great film, doesn't get a China release. How does that make any sense? Oh yeah, you want to know why? Because Disney plays ball with China. If you want to really dive into that, look at what's going on with the NBA right now. Look at what's going on at Hong Kong right now. If you want to dive into why, one of the many reasons I have issues with Disney, if you hate the NBA because of how they kowtow to China, you should have the same exact anger for Disney because they do the same exact thing. They will do anything and everything to get their movies in China, even if it means fighting against human rights. It's disgusting. These giant corporations are truly disgusting, and how all they care about are profits, and they could not give a damn about human life. They could not give a damn about human rights. It is truly disgusting. So you want to know why I hate Disney? You want to know why I'm on a crusade against Disney? It's because of this crap. So Mistress of Evil, they get a China release, not Joker. And you know what? Even with the China release, I am hoping and praying that those Chinese audiences say, screw you, Disney. We're not going. But then, of course, the Chinese government, because it's a communist system, which, again, Chinese government, you suck. For all I know, they could force their people to go see it. They could force their people to go watch it. What's going to stop them? They have all the power. God, communism's stupid. Zach Gregg says, "Hail Odin from the working man." Thanks, Zach Gregg. I appreciate it. Bruce says, "The trailers of the new Maleficent have not moved me like the first one, which I love." Well, I'm glad you liked the first one. I'm glad you liked it. Tina says, "Oh, I skipped it, especially since I had no interest in watching Joe Biden droning at me for some reason." Wait, what? Wait, I'm very confused, my friend. Laura says, "Star Wars dad joke is the BB hungry? No, the BB-8. Yes. That's awesome. I love Star Wars dad jokes. We used to have someone that would came in and would always do Star Wars dad jokes, and it was great. All right, Captain Dean Heiss over on DLive says, got to get the commentary out since you don't have the Monday streams anymore. Got to get the commentary out since you don't have the streams anymore. That's very true, Dean Heiss. That is very, very true, Captain Dean Heiss. So maybe it's a good thing that I'm getting more of the commentary out. That's very true. A lot of things happen on Mondays, it seems. A lot of new things. Alex McCarthy says, it's okay, Aiden. It's okay, Odin. I bite the bullet for all and watch all of the Arrowverse shows. Supergirl is finally not doing it for me this year so far. It's about as boring as Batwoman. Well, I guess that's just the thing, too, is that when it comes down to it, I've been so done with Supergirl for so long because it became very apparent very early on that they only cared about pushing a message and not about actually telling the story of Supergirl. Bruce says, I have a general question. How can anyone blame white males, incels, etc. for anything failing unless they were the key demographic and they just didn't watch? Yeah, I don't know. I honestly don't. I think that it really just comes down to the media's narrative, trying to paint a picture, failing to do so, and audiences saying, yeah, you know what, screw you. The audience saying, no, you don't tell us what to watch. You don't tell us what we should believe or what should we, it's just what movies we should like. It's ridiculous. So no, I think that was definitely a case of the audience saying, screw you. Man, oh man. Alex Garley says, I kept pressing the like button for all them uploads you did for the other channel. Figured it would help some. And thank you, man. I saw your comments on those, man. And I really do appreciate you liking those. Yeah, it's one of those things where I knew that at that day, like it would be awful because it would just be like, oh my God, there's 10,000 new uploads, but it's all old content. But I do really want to start putting more content, not just the podcast, but I really do want to start doing, more original content for the channel. It's a burnout situation. I had a lot of plans that I wanted to do, and I get home, I do my video, and then I'm just like, I can't record anymore. A lot of it has to do with the fact that my chair, which has never been a problem before, but ever since I had a meeting before our fall break, I had to sit down for most of the day, and it did something. It did something to my back, to my pelvis area or something. And now it's just so uncomfortable to sit for long periods of time. So it's just, I can't do it anymore. That's why I haven't been recording as much, or rather that's why I've not been doing extra content for that channel. I might have to start just bringing my vlog camera with me when I'm driving home, and then just be like, boom, here we go. Boom, here we go. And talk about just any, non-movie related topic or, something else. I don't know. I would love to start adding stuff to that channel though. HyperNext13 says, oh, wow, thanks for correcting me, Odin, on the inflation budget for Unbreakable. The actual budget for it was $75 million. But yeah, it's dang impressive for a rated R film to do this well. Exactly, man. And still, $75 million, again, not a huge budget. $55 million, even less than that. So yeah, Hyperman, it's incredible. It really is incredible that it costs less for the Joker, and the Joker's making so much money. Super Anime Gamer says, I think its success also proves that critics and mainstream media opinions really don't matter to lots of people anymore, and they hate that. Yes, they do. They absolutely hate that. This is a spit in their face. That's why I've been so supportive. That's why I've made so many videos with the Joker. I want people to see it because I think it's a good movie. And also, not only is it a good movie, it's an important movie. Because if you support this film, if this film is, it's already working, right? It's already successful. But if this film can break records, if this film can break precedents, that would be the biggest middle finger to the mainstream media that anyone could possibly give. And guess what? All of that without firing a shot. All of that without any sign of violence whatsoever. You speak with your wallet, you speak with your heart, and guess what? Hopefully, someone will listen. Tina says, yeah, I blame myself if Batwoman fails for real. No, I don't. Orange Eye Review says, my thoughts on Zoe Kravitz casting is I like it. They auditioned multiple peoples of different races, so they did it based on merit and not agenda. Yeah, Orange Eye Reviews, to be honest, I think ever since the Halle Berry casting, any person would have been a good choice. Just directly in comparison, right? It's pretty rough. However, getting back to it, because I know someone had asked that earlier and I forgot, but that's my ADD for you. What are my thoughts about the Zoe Kravitz casting? I'm ambivalent towards it. I don't think that she's that talented of an actress. I've only seen her in a few things, and every time I've seen her, she just seems just very dull. She just seems like a very dull personality. Y'all might have other experiences. Maybe there's a movie I haven't seen that she was in. I mean, the most I've seen her in were the Divergent films, I believe, that she was in, and it was just boring. It was kind of like a Brie Larson Plank effect, right? Just dull, no life to it. If y'all can share something that might be showing a different side of that character or that actress, I would love to see it. But yeah, so I'm more against it because of acting prowess and not because of agenda or race or, anything like that, right? Which I think still came into play. I think that did still have an impact, right? I think that they were still thinking that when they made the casting. However, when Halle Berry was cast, that kind of already, threw open the doors for it to be anyone, really. And so I don't have a problem with it because of anything like that, right? I'm not going to go race swap. Other people can do that. I won't. I'll instead focus on the objective reality that I don't think that she's a good actress. Blake Hamlow says, "Hey, Odin, it's great to be here tonight with you and everyone else in the chat. I had Thanksgiving yesterday with the family, and my pet moose named Carl got too fat from the turkey." Oh, that's great. A pet cat named Moose. I love that. Also, yes, happy belated Canadian Thanksgiving. It was Canadian Thanksgiving yesterday, or this past weekend. So congratulations, Canada. I don't know exactly what Canadian Thanksgiving is, but it sounds like a good time. CAF Productions coming to another stream. What's going on, CAF Productions? Hyper says, my personal top 10 comic book movies: Dark Knight, Unbreakable, Joker, Logan, Batman Begins, Infinity War, Spider-Verse, Spider-Man 1, Spider-Man 2, V for Vendetta. That's interesting that you put Spider-Man 2 after Spider-Man 1 because many people argue that Spider-Man 2 is the better film. I personally like Spider-Man 1, and it comes down to one scene. The end scene of Spider-Man 2 with MJ running in the damn wedding dress makes me facepalm every single time. The rest of the movie's great. That part makes me facepalm. So I would agree. I think that 1 is better than 2 in that instance. I mostly agree with your list. I would put Joker a little higher on the list. I'd probably go Dark Knight. Actually, you know what? It's hard to say. Because when you break it down to comic book movies, there's a lot of movies that I'm probably not even considering right now that I've forgotten, or maybe even some films I haven't even seen. But most of the films on that list are pretty solid. Mr. Roy, thank you for the $3 donation. Thank you so much, Mr. Roy. No message. Thank you so much, man. I really do appreciate that. I know Mr. Roy is usually one of my DLive fan, but I think DLive is having some technical issues over there, so that might be why he's donating, because I don't think anyone's able to donate. I'm not sure. I'm honestly not sure. But anyway, thanks for watching anyway on DLive. Hopefully I can still do my chest opening for you guys. That way y'all can get some Lino. Let's see. Kim Cam Park says, the yoga haven't helped. I haven't tried the yoga yet, Kim Cam Park, just because I am just so... I'm lazy. Let's just be honest here. I'm lazy. I also procrastinate a lot. And also, I hate stretching. I hate stretching with a passion. To me, stretching is too much work. That's where the laziness comes in, man. So I know I need to start doing those the wall drills that y'all have been telling me about, the wall stretches, right? And yeah, I need a yogi in my life. That's what I need. I need Steph here right now, like teaching me how to fix my back. Gavin Knight says Zoe Kravitz is just riding her father's coattails. I would agree with that. I don't know if she's got the talent for it. Server says, saw Joker this weekend and loved it. I'm with you. I'm scared of Warner. I think they'll get the wrong idea and will try to mainstream this clearly alternate take on Joker. Please don't. The only thing that could keep them from that, I think, would be the fact that Joaquin Phoenix has been very clear that he has no interest in doing any type of franchise. He has been talking conversations recently showing he might be more open to a sequel or to reappearing as this character. What I'm hoping happens, and I've mentioned this before on the channel, and also I mentioned it over on the John Flickinger channel, and actually he posted if you don't know John Flickinger, he's a great guy, great YouTuber, and we do a podcast together every couple of weeks, and he posted a clip from that podcast, because he does it for his Patreon members of a certain tier, and he posted a clip of it, and he posted a clip of us talking about the future of Batman and also how it might be connected to the Jokerverse. And I've said it before, though. I think it'd be really cool if the Batman movie that they have coming up next is taking place in this same Joker universe, right? Where the events that led to his parents' death are exactly how they are laid out in the Joker film, and the Joker character itself exists in this world. Now, whether he exists bodily, whether Joaquin Phoenix shows up, I could go either way with it. I think that it could work either way as well. So that's where we are with that, I think. I really do hope that they're able to do that because I think that it would be a good idea. But yeah, I agree. I agree super. I don't want them to mainstream it. I don't want them to try and turn it into a franchise. As I told John and when we talked before, make it a rare duology where you have literally the dark and the light. Wouldn't it be amazing if you had a box set of just 2 movies and it's Joker, which deals obviously with the falling down into insanity, and then you have Batman, which is about like a detective, and it's all about the good guy and it's all about the light side? That could be amazing. I could already envision the amazing box set work for it, and that would be a box set I would want to buy on 4K. That's for sure. Speaking of which, I just pre-ordered on Best Buy the Joker Steelbook. So the Steelbook for it it's already available for pre-order. Joker has only been out for like 3 weeks, and they already have the Steelbook available for pre-order. And I want to say they've already revealed what the artwork's going to look like. It's not the best artwork they could use. It's still pretty good. So I've already pre-ordered mine because it's just, I know I'm going to want to buy it, and I'm starting to collect those Steelbooks. So Alex Garley says, a movie I bought today, 3 from Hell, was out in theaters for like a day or 2 in September. Now it's already on Blu-ray. Don't know how I feel about it, but it's a Rob Zombie movie. Yeah, I've never been a fan of his movies personally, but I know that he definitely has an audience. Hyperman says, I was laughing my ass off over hearing Gemini Man flopping at the box office. Yeah, I mean, I don't know what anyone else expected. It's a film script that was tossed around for about 20 years in Hollywood. No one wanted to touch it. Ang Lee, the same one that did the same one that did Ang Lee's Hulk before Incredible Hulk was made and saved the Hulk franchise, in my opinion. It was so bad. But Ang Lee, who's done some really great things and has done some really terrible things, decided, I'm going to do this, and I'm going to shoot it in a high frame rate 3D, and everyone's going to want to see it in high frame rate 3D, and no one did, because it's a gimmick, and it's being used as a gimmick, right? And I'm sure there's going to be some channels out there that are going to try and say, oh, the general audiences just don't understand the minutia of detail in it, right? Like, that's just what they do now. It's ridiculous. But yeah, I'm personally glad to see Gemini Man failing because it just seemed like a lazy attempt. It seemed like a lazy attempt at a big budget film. And I think it's time that Hollywood starts getting some flops. That's why I want Maleficent. It's about time Disney gets a flop, and hopefully Maleficent 2 does that. Hopefully it does that. Captain Dean Heist, thank you for the $2 donation over on DLive. So it looks like it is working. It looks like the DLive donations are working. So it looks like whatever issue they had has been fixed. I just saw blockchain under maintenance, some services unavailable was the message I got when I went to that screen right away. Tina says, I thought Maleficent was about evil magic. Isn't she a dark sorceress? Yeah, that's what I thought too, right? I thought that she was a magician. I thought that she was a sorceress. And last time I checked, that's something that shouldn't be allowed in China. But they allow it for certain films. They're so inconsistent with it. It's ridiculous. It really is so inconsistent. Sierra Production says, let me guess, Maleficent is not actually evil in the movie. She's just under the influence of something, or she's just empowered by some magic that makes her eyes black. Sierra Production, so from what I can gather, I have not seen the first one. I have no interest in seeing the first one. But what I can gather from it is that she's evil. She's trying to kill she's obviously against the character, right? She's obviously against Princess Aurora, and then the prince is trying to kill her, and then guess what? She doesn't die. And then guess what? She turns out to be good in the end. That's why in the trailer, that's what threw me for a loop, because in the trailer for the movie, they have Maleficent walking with her, and they have Aurora going to her, asking for her blessing for a wedding, and I'm like, she was trying to kill you. And the man that you're marrying too. What are you doing? And I think apparently what they ended up doing was they ended up trying to save her character, save Maleficent's character, and say, oh no, she just wanted to go to the party. And again, I could be misreading that. I have never seen the movie. I have no desire to see that damn movie, and definitely not the sequel. Captain K-Man, thank you for the ice cream donation. And Captain High says, Maleficent isn't evil. She's just misunderstood. There it is right there. She's just misunderstood. You just don't understand, man. You just don't understand. Thank you so much for that, Captain Heiss. Matt Teween, thank you very much for the super chat. He says, your next moon pie's on me, brother in Christ. God bless you, Matt Teween. Thank you so much, man. And yes, I actually have had moon pies before because they were oftentimes throws at Mardi Gras down in New Orleans, but I haven't had one for a while, so looks like it'll be good. Proper Ginevra's here. Proper Ginevra. How's it going, Proper? How art thou? How art thou? Let's see how I can get to a much larger feed because it's not allowing me to read the entire message. Let us see here. Where is... All right. Chat just got skipped. Maybe I need to go to Legacy. Oh, yeah, Legacy for sure. That looks much better. That looks much better. All right, chat jumped on me. Very sorry about that. Let me see. I'll try. All right, looks like no chats were jumped, though. So Proper Ginevra, thank you very much for the $10 super chat. You don't have to do that, man. But thank you. I appreciate it. Says, Joker is the best movie I've seen all year. I saw it in 70mm. You bastard. I'm so jealous. And I started recording audio for audience reaction. Should have done that for the last 30 minutes. Spoiler alert, best part was the small person scene. The small person scene had so many people. If you were recording, that probably is what would have gotten the most audible reaction. Because during that scene specifically, everyone just goes collectively, oh, because you're just like, oh no. You just feel so bad without giving anything away. You just feel so bad for the situation. Wandering Ranger over on D-Live, thank you for the 4 lemons, man. I appreciate it. Oh, that's great. Let's see. Tina says, the 10-minute ad, which was going to run before your stream, I saw Joe Biden AOC, and I was like, nope, skip. Wait, you're telling me that a DNC ad ran before my stream? Have they met me? They do realize that I'm politically independent, right? And that I talk crap about those two and all people on a daily basis. God, YouTube's algorithm's stupid. Super says, oh, you're absolutely right. The NBA, Blizzard, Disney, they're all trash. They value money more than peace, prosperity, and freedom. Disgusting. I agree. Yeah. And the sad thing is that many of us just don't have the will to say screw you, right? A lot of us don't have the willpower to say, you know what, maybe I won't go get the streaming service, or maybe I won't watch this movie, or maybe I won't watch this channel anymore, or maybe I won't have this subscription service anymore. And I'm not trying to bully anyone that does, but I think that if anyone has those things but also wants change, the only way that the change is going to happen is if you make it, if you hit them where it hurts, where it's going to be in the wallet, right? Also, Proper Ginevra, thank you again for that $10. But man, I'm so jealous that there was no 70mm screening here. That's like, as much as I love the Chattanooga area, the thing that's been driving me nuts is that the movies are just so much more limited. I have one great 18 screen that has IMAX and has a lot of independent film, but there's no Dolby near me, and I love my freaking Dolby theater. And then there's also no theaters that offer film, and it's sad. And it's such a smaller market. Chattanooga is a very, very small market for films that they would never have a reason to bring those here. So I might have to find a way to see that at some point. I bet they're showing it that way possibly back in my hometown, because we had a couple of theaters there that would show it in film every now and then. Super Anime Gamer says, and if those theories about Warner Brothers about trying to save their cake and eat it too with Joker and CNN, then that disgusts me too. To me, it's exploitation of a tragedy. No, I agree, Super. And obviously that comes down just to conspiracy that I had, that because CNN is indeed owned by the same corporation that owns Warner Brothers, which produced the Joker, what if there's a correlation? The only thing that I think pokes holes in that conspiracy is the fact that other mainstream media sites that are not owned by Warner Media are also still dealing with it as well. Alex McCarthy says, well, I had to have something distract me from Raw last night, so I was going around re-listening to some of the streams. Oh, man, I listened today to a review of it, and I've been listening to the podcast that Wrestle Talk does. It sounds like a bad show. They completely have ruined The Fiend, and it's really sad. Hunga Chunga Funga Munga says, dang it, why you gotta be live too? I could have spent the last half hour before bed doing some record. Hunga Chunky, I'm very sorry, man. I'm very, very sorry. I'm very sorry to hear that. Go to bed, man. Orange Hat says, my take on Batwoman is that its marketing made it out to be an absolute cringe fest, except that it isn't as SJW as its own marketing made it out to be. That doesn't surprise me. I think that they were doing it because they knew it would get outraged. They knew it would get clicks. But guess what? It backfired on them because, yeah, even though the show is not as bad as they made it out to be, they drove away any potential audiences. They thought, here's the biggest problem. They thought they could bank on SJWs. The problem is SJWs don't come out to support. SJWs do not give you money. They might give you attention on Twitter. They might tweet about you. They might post a video about you, but they will not spend money on you. And I bet a lot of these people don't have cable, aren't paying for any subscription service, and so have no means to watch it. And many of them, guess what? They're probably torrenting it or watching it for free another way. Like that's what it comes down to. So the audience they went after was the wrong audience. They went after the wrong audience, and now it is kicking them in the teeth. CWD Trixie says, instead of a Batwoman series, the CW could have had a Catwoman series and be about a former thief becoming a hero after Batman goes for whatever reason. You're absolutely right. They're absolutely right. And they could have had a strong female character without having to remind people that she's a strong female character, and it could have been a good show, but they decided not to. Bruce says, I think Lenny Kravitz would be a better Batwoman. Alice McCarthy says, Zoe Kravitz as Catwoman, so that means Aquaman is Catwoman's stepdad now. That's true. Yeah, for those that don't know, Jason Momoa is currently married to Zoe Kravitz's mom. So, yep, that would be something. I don't want to see any fan fiction on that because Lord knows the disgusting people that we have. We have Muhammad. Thanks for following me over on DLive. Wandering Ranger, how are you doing? He says, have you seen the Richard Jewell trailer? I've never even heard of it. I don't know what that is. Captain High says, Joker actually had me feeling sorry for him in a couple of spots. Me too. And that's what a good movie does. Even if there is a bad guy, even if there is a obvious villain, which he is, you should be able to understand him. All good villains. The reason why Thanos in Infinity War was such a good villain was because you didn't agree with him, but you understood him, right? You said, oh, he honestly believes that what he's doing is right. He is doing all of his actions because he wants to save the universe, because he knows that if he doesn't, the universe in his mind will essentially self-destruct because of overpopulation, etc. And again, I obviously disagree with the methods that he has. I think that he's obviously an evil person. He's a bad guy, but I can at least understand where he's coming from. Joker's the same way. He's obviously a bad guy. He kills innocent people, right? He's obviously maniacal. He's obviously a maniac. But that doesn't mean that I can't understand. And this is where the media got it wrong. Just because I understand and the movie goes into how you can understand a person going through that does not mean that it supports it. No one in their right mind, exactly, no one in their right mind would go into that movie thinking, oh, yeah, this film is supporting it. No, of course they're not. It's good storytelling is what it is. Aiden Vickery says, the casting of anybody as Batwoman matters. I don't think the casting of anyone as Batwoman matters. The film's selling point is the curiosity value of Patterson as Batman. I would agree, however, in the age of 2019 and going into 2020, we know the political narratives that are at stake. And because we know the political narratives that are at stake here, we know that they in all likelihood will give her a role bigger than what she deserves and what she should have. And I think that could lead to a downfall. And having her cast in it, I think, could possibly make it even worse. That's just my own opinion, though. Take it or leave it. Ryan S. says, just like your Thanksgiving with lots of turkey food, good drinking, plenty of regret the next day. I figured that if you're calling it Thanksgiving, even if it is Canadian, that it would be about the same. Chris Montano says, this might be out of left field, but why is El Camino, a Breaking Bad movie, not getting too much attention out there? It's a pretty good film. Is it because it's released on Netflix? It's because it's released on Netflix. It's because it's come out at an odd time. It's come out at a time when it's been a very long time since a lot of us have seen Breaking Bad, the original series. It ended on a perfect note. Obviously, it ended on a perfect note. But from what I hear, this is a great end point. This is a great epilogue to the series, which is why I want to see it. So I don't think it's being ignored for any other reason than the series ended. It ended in a good way, right? It ended on a very clear note. And it was actually one of the best endings to a TV series that we could have had. And so many people that were fans of the show have already moved on to other shows. And then there's the Netflix factor too, with just it already being harder to market because it's Netflix, and studios are Disney came out and said, no Netflix, we will not allow any Netflix advertising on our services. So you already have that kind of animosity towards it. So it makes sense to me that it's not getting a lot of attention. I will be talking about it when I see it. If I see it and I love it, I will be giving it attention just like I'm giving Joker. Blake Hamler says, Canadian Thanksgiving is the same as American Thanksgiving. You got your turkey, veggie, potatoes, stuffing, alcohol, dessert. That's awesome. Hyman says, same here, dude. Don't get me wrong. I like Spider-Man 2, but I personally love 1 over 2. Exactly right. Exactly right. Proper Ginevra, thank you very much for the $5 super chat. You don't have to do that again, man. Come on. He says, Joker's the only movie I've seen in 70mm. They only showed 2 trailers. None of them were Birds of Prey. I guess DC didn't think it was worth it. Yes. Yes, proper. That's awesome, man. Yeah. I'm still jealous that you got to see it. I've seen, Lord, I don't know if I've seen, because I've seen IMAX films. Before IMAX became digital, it used to be on 70mm film. It used to be 70mm print. So I want to say I've seen it. I think I saw The Dark Knight in IMAX. So I think I saw, therefore, The Dark Knight in 70mm film, and it was beautiful. But the last film I saw on actual film projector was Hateful Eight, because Quentin Tarantino did a 35mm release of that film, and it was beautiful. It was really cool to see that old school way of showing film, right? And there's something special about it. I love my digital. I love my crisp digital image, but I do also miss sometimes just the beauty and magic of that type of filmmaking too. So very jealous of you, good sir. Glad you got to see it in 70mm, and also glad that was your first 70mm film. It's good that your first 70mm was a good film. I'm glad that it was a good, solid film. Bruce says, did you get you the Blu-rays? I did not get a chance to go to the post office today, but I will let you know when I do. Tina says, Steph would be more happy to help you with the yoga moves. I know that she would. CF Production says, all right, gotta go eat dinner. Hope we'll still be on live when I get back. There's a chance. Don't know how long I'll be on tonight. Tina says, Stephanie is happy Gemini Man failed. She can't stand Will Smith, and that movie had 2 Will Smiths. That's true. It had double the Will Smith, and I guess it also therefore had double the failure. Alex McCarthy says, what didn't you like that Hulk poodle in Ang Lee's Hulk? He says, what, you didn't like that Hulk poodle? You're damn right I didn't like that Hulk poodle. A Hulk poodle? Come on, man. So bad. Superman Anime Gamer says, I thought Phoenix or someone who worked on the movie said Joker wouldn't meet Pattinson. Who knows? Personally, I think they made Joker too old for it to work. But here's the thing. You can make that work, though. You can still make that work. Because, yeah, he's a little bit older, but he's already a little bit older in general. He's already being presented as a little bit of an older Joker even now. So if you age him by, 10, 15 years, 20 max, you could still make it work because guess what? Joker's not known for being physically fit. Joker's known for being insane and being bright in that insanity. So you could still have that connection work even if they were to play him as old. There are also ways in which you could play him as being the same age. That would have to go into some spoiler talk, which I'm not quite ready to go into at this point. But if you've seen the movie, there are things that are done at the end of the movie that definitely leave open the possibility that age could be a malleable factor. And I think you might know what I mean if you catch my drift. Hopefully you read the code that I'm putting down. Tina says, I think the only Ang Lee movie I liked was Sense and Sensibility, which I've never seen. I've heard great things about Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon, but I've just never had a chance to see it. I own it. I just have never had a chance to see it myself. Let's see. Bruce says, RC and a moon pie. That does sound pretty good. RC, everyone's saying RC and moon pie. Super says, Maleficent isn't actually that bad. No, we're not the biggest Disney fans here, but it's one of the better live action movies. Well, I'm glad to hear that. It just sounds like the ending's stupid. Hyman says, let me get this straight. There's a proper Ginevra and a mirror Jeremy, too. Jeremy into the Jeremy. Oh, yeah, there's Jeremys everywhere, man. There's only one proper Ginevra, though. So proper Jeremy, I like to call Ginevra, because there was a time in his life when he went by proper Jenny, and it was very confusing, and so I was like, no, I'm not calling you that. I'm just calling you Ginevra. That's who you are to me. Tina says, small person scene, okay, having Twin Peaks flashbacks. Ungoliant of Avatar, did you know David Benioff was a writer of Gemini Man? Yes, I did. So sorry if you already talked about that. I just got here. No problem at all. Yeah, that's another reason why I'm ecstatic that Gemini Man is bombing. Because one of the writers, he was not the main writer. Because as I said, this script has been pushed around for 20 years, and he happened to be one of the many writers, which is probably why it failed, why everyone's universally saying the story sucks. And I like to think that he had something to do with the movie's failure, but I can't say that for sure. But I'm glad that something with Benioff's name is is great. Tina says, I honestly think the ad was in support of the anti-abortion movement, but they were showing clips from the DNC folks who villainize those against abortion, but 10 minutes is too long. Oh, okay. Well, I'm glad to hear that then. Mr. Dr. Professor Wingster, Odin, many of us have the will, but do we know the way? I don't know if you know. Do you know the way? Do you know the way, my friends? Because if you do not know the way, I will show you the way. Odin will show you the way, my friends. But do you know the way? Also, Wandering Ranger over on DLive, thank you very much for the ice cream and the 5 lemon donation over there. I appreciate it. Super says, they should have used the image from one of the early posters from that bathroom scene for the Steelbook cover. Art, also, did you know that the scene was improvised? Phoenix is the bomb. Dude, Phoenix is the bomb, man. That's why when they first announced him, some people were like, he's too old, or I don't know. I was like, from day one, nope. He's the only guy in Hollywood I could see doing this role right now. And guess what? It seems that I've been vindicated in that because he has been fantastic in this role. And I agree. I think that a great image cover would be him dancing. I think you mentioned that. Yeah, the bathroom scene. Dancing in the bathroom. Yep. We're in agreement there. Tina says, okay, just letting someone know how to contact me. Bruce says, I'll never pay for any streaming service. Heck, I don't even want the basic cable we have. We only have it because there are some shows my wife likes. Yeah, I hear that, Bruce. And that's why, in all honesty, what you can do is you can invest in something like a Fire Stick. And if you use a VPN or not, there are ways of getting access, allegedly, to TV and movies. But if you want to go a legal route, guess what? If you get yourself those little bunny ear antennas, and now they even make it where they don't have the metal, it's just like a black sheet, essentially, that has obviously the antenna in it. You can just hook that up and you can get a bunch of free basic channels. You can get all your local news, local sports, and you can also get some free movie and TV things. There's some really great old school television shows, television stations that are out there. MeTV is a great channel. There are so many. Also, because Tina uses it all the time, you got things like Pluto TV. And Pluto TV offers you free channels. And it has a lot of really good stuff on there. So, yeah. Mr. Dr. Professor Wingster. Odin, I watched the EFAP reactions to the first 2 episodes of Batwoman, and it's still crap. It's just as much crap. It's just as much SJW crap. Well, if you watch EFAP and they have an agenda in mind or they have an opinion in mind, they'll either convince you of it or they won't. And if they convince you of it, you will be strong in that conviction because they dive in pretty deep. Tina says, Jason Momoa is married to Lisa Bonet, and the Kravitz girl is Jason's stepdaughter. That's what I thought. Phenomene says, what did you think about China banning South Park, and what about the companies bending to China's will, to put it nicely? I think that it's despicable of all these companies bowing to China, and they're only doing it for the money. And so they are basically selling their souls for money. And I think that's ridiculous. I think that's disgusting. And all I have to say is, go South Park. Seriously, South Park has been on a roll. They had the one episode that got banned in China because they made fun of the Chinese censors. And then they came back the next week and said, F China. They, in the episode, 2 or 3 times, they say the words F China. And I agree. And I think most of us do. And I think they're actually jumping on something that's gaining a lot of traction because now with the NBA and everything with Blizzard, the Blizzard to me, when everything happened with Blizzard. So for those that don't know, there was a gamer that ended up getting banned for a year. I think they've reduced it to 6 months. They're still getting crap for it though. He got banned because I think in his name, he had something about free Hong Kong. And because he got banned, that pissed off a lot of people. But when you get the gaming community, the main point is this. Beforehand, you had South Park fans, you had, people that are, paying attention to society, paying attention to the culture. But they've tapped into probably one of the largest audiences on this planet, and that's gaming culture. The fact that gaming culture, because now my students know about it. And the only reason why my students know about it is because of Blizzard. That's the only reason. If Blizzard had not been involved, if this guy had not been banned for his free Hong Kong, they probably never would have heard of it. But now they've brought in one of the largest groups of people in the world. And I think now is when things are going to start to get hopefully a little bit serious and we actually start to do something about it. Lord. Alice Carly says, I think the CW app is free. I believe it is too. You get it like the day after. Because I have it and haven't once logged in my info. So that means the SJWs can see Batwoman for free, yet they still don't see it. Yeah, I think you're right there. I think that you're absolutely right there for sure. Yeah, the CW, because the CW technically is a broadcast channel. That's why if you have an antenna, I think you can access CW. Don't quote me on that. Maybe it's not a broadcast channel. It's like one though, right? It's like a broadcast channel. Actually, no, I'm pretty sure you can get it with an antenna. But anyway, that's the reason why it would be free. So yeah, it has to be, because that's why it would be free on their service. Because if it was a cable channel, then they would be like USA Network or any of these other major networks where you have to pay to get access to their shows. Bruce says, I saw Spider-Man Far From Home for the first time on Sunday. Watched it with my grandson. I really enjoyed it. I did too. It was a solid B movie. The reason why I'm not more excited for it is because I'm just so done with the MCU. And I think that there are certain decisions made in the film that are just kind of like, yeah, okay. The ending, especially with the use of scrolls, and that part just ticked me off. But overall, it's a fine movie, right? It's an entertaining movie. It's definitely a B range film. Mr. Dr. Professor Wingster, also, I had to hang up the Captain mantle. Apparently, when you change your name on YouTube, your email changes too, and some people might find that inappropriate. Oh, it's okay. Phantom and he says, in the show Madam Secretary, they made the woman president, and it's basically Trump, but in woman form, but it's still okay. Well, of course. We'll also keep in mind that the reason why it's okay is because she's mocking Trump. It's about a mockery of Trump. That's all that it's about. That's all they care about. Niggle Noodle says, I would like Christian Bale to be cast as Batwoman. He needs only identify as female until the shoot wraps to be legit. That's true. That's a good point. Tina says, I haven't seen the trailer, but about Richard Jewell. Was the poor man the FBI and the media accused of the Atlanta Olympic bombing, and turns out he didn't do it? Oh, damn. Yeah, that premise alone, it has me interested. That's for damn sure. John Early says, All Father, which film would you rather sit down and watch? I have not seen Wrath of Khan, so I cannot answer that question. So Empire Strikes Back will be the answer. I've not seen the other one yet. Alice Bradley says, El Camino is definitely worth it. It was something that wasn't needed, but at the same time, it was good. It was so good that I'm glad we got it. Yeah, as I said, I've heard nothing but good things about it, so I'm excited. I'm assuming that someone just went streaming, so for everyone that might be leaving right now, I'm sorry. I'm sorry I'm not entertaining. I'm sorry I'm not entertaining you. But for those that are still here, I love you guys. You're awesome. You are the reason why I breathe. Hybrid says, even though one of my criticisms with Logan is the X-24 subplot, I still find it more entertaining than Will Smith fighting CGI's Will Smith. Yeah. And I love Logan. I didn't have a problem with that subplot. Again, I think that's definitely a matter of opinion, and I respect that opinion for sure, because I definitely can see why there could be some issues with it, right? Especially if someone's from more of a comic book perspective, whereas someone who's just a movie perspective, it's like, no, they've established this new character. It makes sense within the story frame. And the little actress that played her was fantastic. But yeah, I think that you're right. I don't know of anyone that really wants to see a CGI, because that's the other thing too, is that a bunch of people kept trying to say, oh yeah, they're using the de-aging effects. But from what I saw in the behind the scenes, they didn't use de-aging. Instead, they actually created a full CGI character, which a lot of people are trying to say, isn't that impressive? No, it's just a CGI character that still looks like a CGI character. And the only times people say it looks good is when it's in the dark. It's like, well, of course it's going to look good. You can't see a damn thing. Oh, man, oh, man. Tina says, remember, if you want Odin to see your comment, thank you for letting them know how it goes. Or maybe there's just a lot of people going because they want to see the Democrat. Who wants to watch the Democratic debate right now? Seriously. You want to see a bunch of asshats talk on stage about how they want to kill children and about how they're amazing and hate Trump? Like, that's ridiculous. Don't vote for any of these people. Seriously. Don't vote for. Go and vote third party. Write in a candidate if you can. Like, there's no one good right now. There's no one good right now that I know of. Oh, man. Our options suck. Let's see. Captain K-Man says, I was given a free ticket to see Gemini Man, and I still did not see it. That's awesome. K-Man also says, Pluto TV is great. Sounds about right. And also, thank you very much, Captain K-Man, for the ice cream. He also says, according to LeBron's logic, we can't say anything on the subject until we get educated about China. Oh, I'm sure LeBron James is the most educated person on China. Oh, yeah. I trust LeBron James that he knows more about China than the people who live there. That's what the worst part about that is that he, in his arrogance, is going to say a line like that, and yet people who actually live in the country and the protesters in Hong Kong who have made it very clear about what's going on there, oh, we can't listen to them until we get educated. Okay, LeBron James, shut the hell up. Seriously, LeBron James, you're never going to see this video, but I don't care. LeBron James, you suck. You're never going to be as good as Jordan, and your opinions are invalid because they're not based in reality. You are bought and paid for by China. You are bought and paid for by the NBA, and therefore you will say whatever it is that your that your masters tell you to say. Oh, no, you can't say that because that seems to indicate slavery, etc. Well, too bad. It's the best word for it because at the end of the day, would you be saying this if you weren't getting paid millions of dollars by the NBA or by China and the deals that you have with China? Probably not. So I stand by it. Shut the hell up, LeBron. You're an idiot. Stupid idiot. Alex Carly says, would it be cool? Would be cool to see Joker get dipped in a vat of acid in the Batman. It would be. It would definitely add to the lore. Bruce says, the new type of TV rabbit ears is the way I want to go, but it will never happen. Never happen, like I said, wife. Yes, the wife holds much power. These are true words. These are true words. Let's see. Super Anime Gamer says, as a comics fan, haven't seen much of Kravitz acting, but she has the look, so I'm okay with her as Catwoman, but still not liking the Commissioner Gordon and the implied changes to Batgirl. Yeah, as I said, I'm just not really... I'm interested, but I'm not interested. Alex Carly says, of course, Drunk and Gary are streaming now. Of course. Of course. Oh, of course. Really, man? Really? Really? Drunk 3PO. Drunk 3PO knows better. Drunk 3PO knows better. Someone go over there and say, Drunk, you honestly are streaming during the one-man low council? You know how this goes. And Gary, my brother, my Friday night streaming brother, doing me dirty like that. That's just. But for those that are still here, you're awesome. The true Asgardians are the ones that are still here. Hyphen says, personally, I kind of felt Far From Home was average, 6 out of 10. I didn't hate it, but I didn't love it either. However, I like Jake Gyllenhaal as Mysterio and the character himself. I gave the movie a B because of Jake Gyllenhaal. If Jake Gyllenhaal was in the movie, it probably would have been in the C range for me. Venom Broly says, I like the movie Maleficent. I had no interest in it, but it was arguably surprised. Okay, that's cool. Dion says, we love you too. Cheers. Dion, I love you, man. Alex Garley says, I'm not leaving. I didn't reach Army of Asgard status by leaving the stream. That is true. That is very true. Tina says, Gary and Drunk, and Gary said earlier he was going to do a fundraiser for Anas this evening. They're getting so close. Okay, yeah, that's a good reason. Yeah, of course, whenever I complain, I always mean it in good spirits, but they are actually doing something very important, so that's awesome. Lanceolato, no, my Lord Odin, you are the reason that we breathe. Huzzah! Well, huzzah to you, Lancelot. Sir Lancelato, it's been too long since I've seen you in the chat. I shout you out all the time. But dude, welcome back. Welcome home. Super says, and it's not just individual gamers. You see what Mark Kern posted on Twitter? He's a game developer and admitted to losing support and funding for supporting Hong Kong as a former resident. That's ridiculous. Wow. Yeah, but hey, no. LeBron still needs to educate you, though. Don't forget that. LeBron James needs to educate you on China and needs to educate this game developer on China because this guy just doesn't know. He just doesn't. He lost his job or he lost his money and his funding, but he doesn't know. While LeBron James is getting millions of dollars for playing a game with a frickin' ball. Oh, look over here, everybody. LeBron James can put a ball into a tiny hole with a hoop attached to it. Oh my goodness. How amazing is that? How amazing is that? People sometimes just blindly follow these things, and I don't understand it. Bruce says, solid B, B+, yes, but an A+ after Captain Marvel and Endgame and the Marvel news that came out after Far From Home was a breath of fresh air. I think that you have a right. I think that you're definitely right there. Harper says, thank you, Odin, for being reasonable and understanding where I'm coming from with criticisms regarding how negative or honest I sound most of the time. But yeah, I love Logan, number 4, favorite for me. And as I said before, again, if you can present, your side of things and you're going to be respectful, I have no reason to go after you, right? If you're respectful, there was someone that on Reddit had posted under one of my videos, and it was disagreeing with me, and it was an argument to say that The Last Jedi was a good movie. And it was respectful. It was down the line, everything that it should have been. And then he decided to end it with, okay, dislikes coming in 3, 2, 1. And I posted under her comment, I was like, no, man, I'm not going to, even if I disagree with you, I'm not going to dislike your post because you gave a different opinion. It's how you give that opinion. It's how you present yourself. That's what it should be on, right? Content over character. Or character over content. Content of character, sorry. The content of the character. Oh, man, I butchered that one for sure. Jace Doe says, I tell you, no need for debates. Picard, Riker, 2020. Make it so. Now, that would be amazing. Super says, agreed, the DNC in the impending election is a dumpster fire already. Tulsi is the only one I like, and I still don't agree on much. I endorse Vermin Supreme for president or a meteor. Vermin Supreme. If you don't know who Vermin Supreme is, look him up. He's a dude that wears a boot on his head. You heard it right. He wears a boot on his head. He's a perennial candidate. He is also a, what's it called? He's an artist, right? So he does it as a show, for more or less. He fights for things like the gingivitis police. He promises every single person a unicorn, but also he will arrest you if you don't brush your teeth because he's fighting the number one cause of everything, and that's gingivitis. That dude deserves your vote. That dude deserves your vote more than any of the other candidates running. And yeah, I'm right there with you. Tulsi Gabbard could be perfect. I love her stance on foreign policy because I'm very anti-war. I'm a Catholic, right? I'm very anti-war. I stand by. When I say I'm pro-life, I'm not just against abortion. I'm pro-life in every sense of the word. I'm against the death penalty. I'm against war. I'm against violence. And Tulsi Gabbard stands for some of those things. She's still very pro-choice, and that's my biggest issue. And that is a very important issue for me personally. But Tulsi Gabbard, in almost all other of her policies, was great. Yeah. And right now, there's no one. There really is no one that fits my views as a Catholic. Mr. Dr. Professor Wingster says, LeBron also supported the whiny entitled Kaepernick for kneeling, but defends China for his money. Yeah, seriously. A dude that will defend Kaepernick for his freedom will support a country that takes freedom away from others. You know what's hilarious too? The people that are going out to support countries like China and these giant organizations are the same ones that try and fight for social doctrine here. They're the same ones that still will, support and endorse things like pride parades, even though gay people can get married now. There's no reason now to have those parades anymore because it was all about equal rights. They now have equal rights on some of the most important issues, right? Oh, but no, we got to keep on going. And they're the ones that will fund it. They're the ones that will fund it and cover it. And yet they will also take money from China that will kill people or imprison people or treat them like second-class citizens if they're gay. The hypocrisy of these people is staggering. It's disgusting. That's why whenever any of these Hollywood elite asshats tries to preach to me about how we should be, when they won't go over to the countries that are showing their movies or countries that they could actually go ahead and have an impact and actually help people, they won't go there because they don't have the freedom to do so or because they're scared to do so. They would rather stay in the safety of their ivory towers and preach to us about how we're cavemen, about how we're backwards, about how we need to come up and catch up with the times. Well, how about we go to countries where they still don't even have women driving or women voting? How about that before you start complaining, right? And LeBron, once again, you'll go ahead and support an individual's rights, which, again, does he have the right to do so? Yes. But the business also has the right to say, yeah, you can't do that. This is our stadium. This is our team. You're under contract with us. And so therefore you have to go by our rules. And if you don't follow your contract, we have the right to fire you. That's not an infringement on rights. That's private business. But then he'll defend that guy. He'll defend that dude. But no, the poor people in Hong Kong right now, oh no, he won't support them. And you know what they're going to be arrested for? You know what bill they're fighting against? For those that don't know, they're fighting a bill, the Hong Kong protesters. Some of them are going too far. I don't like violence. Simple as that. I don't like violence. So there's some that are definitely going way too far with it. But the main thing that they're fighting is this. They're fighting a bill that was passed by pressure from the Chinese government that any person that was critical of the Chinese government could be extradited from Hong Kong to be tried and probably killed in China. That's what they're fighting against. And the media is going to try and spin it as something else, but that is the core and crux of it all. Sorry to go on that tangent. Bruce says, haha, LeBron James, Hoden said, you said suck. I did. I indeed did, because that is how I really feel. That is how I really feel. Mr. Dr. Professor Wingster says, Odin Maleficent is out. I didn't know. I never saw any marketing for it. It comes out this weekend. Alex McCarthy says, agreed. Jake Gyllenhaal made Far From Home plus J. Jonah Jameson. That's true. Lancelotto says, always here, just working and lurking, my lord. Well, thank you for being here. Thank you for being here, Lancelotto. Wingster says, Mark Kern is the man. He was the lead director on classic World of Warcraft, and it made my childhood. That's awesome. Yeah, as someone who's not not much of a gamer, I don't know too much about it, but I do know enough. Super says, oh yeah, game journalists have been smearing Kern and all supporters of Hong Kong as holding far-right views. This is why we're in a culture war, exactly, because they can't see the forest for the trees. They can't see the reality of the situation. They can't step back, take their heads out of their ass, and see what's actually going on in the world. Tina says, someone wears a boot on their head. I want a unicorn, and I brush twice a day, sometimes 3. Well, Tina, Vermin Supreme, look him up. If you have the chance to write in a candidate, Vermin Supreme. Wingster says, well, you're a white man, so your opinion is invalid. Yet I am also a white man, so mine is also. So how does this work? And who can win any argument? I have so many questions. That's a great statement, yeah. Wait a minute, but if I'm a white man and my opinion is invalid, but the person talking to me is either a white man or, in more likelihood, a liberal elite white woman, but that means her opinion is also invalid as well, right? How does this work? So many questions. What's the math on this? Chris Boitano says, thanks for the El Camino reply. Regarding the Joker movie, have you heard about this 11:11 clock theory? It sounds pretty good, even though Phillips and Phoenix tried to shoot it down. I have heard of it. I also don't really buy into it, and if they're going to talk against it, it sounds to me that it's a coincidence more so than anything else. And you could have it be where maybe it's means something scene to scene, but not for the overall plot of the film. I don't know. Bruce says, in Logan, Daphne Keene, who played Laura X-23, was just awesome. I hope to see her in other serious and strong roles like that. She was great. As a child actress, she was wonderful in that film. Soul Assassin says, I support a bill that allows the Valkyries to not need hunting licenses to deal with stream trolls. Damn right. Damn right. Proper Ginevra, thank you very much for the $5 super chat. I think I just saw this comment. Very sorry I missed your super chat earlier, but I will give you the due that is due to you. The due to you, Proper Ginevra. Proper Ginevra, thank you for the $5 super chat, says, extra for your awesome shirt. If I was forced to make one change to it, I'd be adding a moment of Biff calling Marty chicken or even George. Well, thank you, man. I appreciate it. Yeah, if you want to buy a shirt, go ahead and click on the link in the description of the video. Heimdall's been posting the link all night too. They're very good shirts. I think people have been buying them, but I've had people say they've been buying them, but Teespring, something's going on with Teespring right now, because I know that Gary just left Teespring. I think they're starting to screw people over, because I know a student bought a shirt and it never showed up. It never popped up as an order. So I don't know what's going on with Teespring right now. So I might have to pull out a Teespring too. I don't know where I would go in alternative, because I want a system like it where you only buy I don't want to buy shirts, right? I don't want to buy in bulk and then sell them that way. That would just be too much of a hassle. But is anyone else that's on Teespring seeing this issue? I don't know if anyone wants to reach out to Drunk 3PO or anyone else that's on Teespring. John Talks, I know, is on it as well, or at least he was on it. Let me know, because I think Teespring might be screwing some people over. I might have to check it out, because I know that at least one shirt was bought, but I never saw it pop up. So if anyone wants to test that, you're more than welcome to. But it's a good shirt. It's a good shirt. And thank you for the advice, Proper. I appreciate it. Jumping over to D-Live for a second. Kim Cam Parker, thank you for the ice cream. Captain K-Man, thank you for the ice cream as well. I am good. I am good at some games. Thanks for the follow. It is true. A couple of games, maybe, at best. Poppy10, thank you very much for the ice cream. Mr. Peabody says, I want to see you on the next season of The Masked Singer Australia. Don't you have to be Australian to be on that version? I don't know how that works. Hybrid says, what movie do you think is the better example of an interesting character that dies in the first act? Full Metal Jacket or Place Beyond the Pines? Vincent D'Onofrio and Ryan Gosling. I have not seen Place Beyond the Pines yet. I do own it. I just have not seen it yet. So I'll have to go with Vincent D'Onofrio, because that scene in Full Metal Jacket that whole sequence with that character is fantastic. Phantom Menace says, the world is slowly going insane, and I'm worried about what is going on. I don't know if you know, I follow politics and current events. Also, did you see Team America World Police? If not, see it. I have seen it, and it's wonderful. I'm Sharon Ray. She'll better and utter a wrong. Super says, yeah, her foreign policy and views on immigration are great, and I respect the hell out of her for attacking the DNC and just doing what she wants. I agree. Phantom also says they rescinded the Hong Kong extradition bill a long time ago. Did you know that? Yes. So I had heard it. I had heard they rescinded it, but I was not sure because I knew that there was still chaos going on. So that I know that's what started it, but I think that was kind of the spark. From what I'm gathering, from what I've been paying attention to, it seems like that's the spark that has led to them now fighting for more rights. I could be wrong on that, but that's what I thought. Hybrid says, who would win a smack talk fight, Mr. Fletcher from Whiplash or Gunnery Sergeant Hartman from Full Metal Jacket? Mr. Fletcher from Whiplash. Absolutely. Tina says, I remember Tiananmen Square in 89. I remember that one man who stood in front of the tank during the protest. I remember them making a Statue of Liberty. None of it ended well. No, it didn't. And that's why we need to support them. I remember that there was a situation during the Obama administration when there was, I think they called it the Arab Spring or something, but basically there was a push. There were people in the streets pushing for democracy, and we did nothing. We did nothing to help. Now, I'm all for not getting involved, right? I'm all for not putting troops and boots on the ground. But when you have a tyrannical regime in these countries, and there is at least the glimmer of hope, stoke that fire, right? Not for political gain, which is what oftentimes it turns into, and I'm not okay with that, but just because it's right. Bruce says, my opposing invalid option is an opposing invalid option. Yeah, oh my goodness. Is that what it means? Hybrid says, Daphne Keane has joined the Golden Compass reboot TV series, if I'm not mistaken. Okay. Yeah, I have no interest in the Golden Compass because that writer was very anti-Christian, and that whole story was essentially anti-Christian rhetoric. Proper says, I meant your Back to the Future shirt, but thank you for the Teespring advice. I'll be sure to steer clear of that. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, dude, this show, I mean, I understand what you mean there. Yeah, so adding Biff calling Marty chicken or even Biff. I just like it because it's a standard Back to the Future shirt, and I love Back to the Future so much. I definitely want to get some more throughout my life, but I tend to get too many t-shirts. I really am not in need for any more. Alex Carly says, Maleficent trailer on my TV looks boring. Yes, it does. Superman Gamer says, T-Public might be an alternative, Big Cartel, or the service EVS uses. I try to use the one that EVS uses because I like the quality of the shirts, but I didn't see an option for creators, and I don't know if they offer the same options or not. I might have to check out T-Public. I've never heard of Big Cartel. Bruce says, my last chat comment could be seen as an ontological paradox. Alistair Garley says, one thing about Batwoman in the last episode, waffles play an importance. No. Well, that determines it. If waffles are in the episode, boom, I'm done. Pancakes. Mike Martinez, are you going to see Dr. Sleep? Yes, I want to see it. Fandom says the extradition bill was just a spark. If they are not active, they are supporting it morally or something. Super says, yeah, the extradition bill is, I think, just a straw that broke the camel's back. China was attempting to, if not successfully, install a social credit system in Hong Kong. Yep. Bruce, oops, I misspelled opinion. It's all good, man. Margaret Martinez says, I forgot Maleficent was coming out, to be honest. I think a lot of people did. And Lancelotto says, advice for someone down on their luck, my lord. Well, all I can say is this. Every person, whether you believe it or not, every person goes through rough times. Even the most successful person in the world, if you think that everyone around you is happy and that they never go through down moments, it's not true. Everyone goes through rough patches. Everyone goes through it. And so when you recognize that hopefully gives you the sense of, I'm not in this alone. Everyone around me is either going through something or has gone through something before. And so therefore, I can find comfort in that. I can find support in that as well. Keep your head up. Keep yourself strong, because whatever's going on, it will pass. You will get through it. There is a light at the end of the tunnel. There is a way to move past anything. God does not give us anything that we cannot handle. And those are not just kind words. They are true. We can handle anything that gets thrown at us. It just sometimes might take time. It might take patience. It might take grace. It might take prayer. It might take meditation for those that maybe don't pray, right? But time, right? Time, and also the knowledge that you're not in this alone, that we are there with you, that we are supportive of you, and that you're not the only one going through something, and you can find a lot of comfort in that. So hopefully that helps. Don't know if that was for you or for anyone else, but there you go. Michael Martinez says, love the Back to the Future shirt. One of my all-time favorite movies. Me too. Jay Stowe says, only thing to say about your t-shirt is, Great Scott! Marty, Great Scott! 1.21 gigawatts! Great Scott! Super says, and with the social credit system, China is not using the government could spy with cameras and report to others your score, but you can never know. It's terrifying. Yeah, so it sounds to me like China is trying to bite off way more than it can chew, trying to really inflict a huge nanny nation states giant government agency. Winkster says, Odin goes to show you that waffles are superior because Batwoman. I didn't think this argument through. Your argument has failed you. Phantom says, how much longer do you think you will stream, and why not play a game in the background while you talk? Yeah, I mean, it's because I have ADD, and if I was playing a game right now, I would not be able to have this conversation. If I was playing a game right now, I would be quiet for most of the time as far as commentary and answering questions. I wouldn't be able to get to everyone's questions either. So that's the reason why. I like the old school just talking. I like the old school like communicating and going back and forth and everything. Let's see. Allie Perkins, 705, thanks for the follow, and thank you for the lemon as well. Captain K-Man says, TeePublic is a good site. It's what I use for my shirt designs. Cool. Awesome, K-Man. Thank you. Well, then I think after the stream, I might have to try and open up a TeePublic site then. And then Peabody says, any problem can be solved with time and a wiener dog. Yes, Peabody. Yes, time and a wiener dog. Absolutely. Bruce says, waffles are just pancakes that have been put through an Iron Maiden. Poor pancakes. Ah, yes. Rhaegar Targaryen says, what do you know? Joker is turning out to be the Venom of the year. 556 million, soon to beat Justice League. Oh, it's not even going to be the Venom of this year. It is a good chance that it will surpass Venom. There's a good chance it could get to the minimum, I think, if my calculations are correct. If in the first 2 weeks it's made 60% of its box office, which many films tend to make, usually it's not more than 60%, the minimum makes is 900. If it's made 50% of its take, it's made 1.1 billion. 50% is a little too low, so it'll probably be somewhere between 57, 58. So this is a film that's going to make well over $900 million, I think, by the end of its run. And all without China. Michael Martinez, have you seen Gemini Man? No! I have no real interest to see it. Bruce says, playing a game equals me not watching the stream. Yeah, pretty much. That's the other thing, too, is that people don't like the people that watch the channel, the people that interact with the channel and with the show, don't like games. I remember I tried gaming at one point, and those streams were the slowest streams. They were the hardest because even with a slow chat, it was hard for me to stay focused on what was going on. I just got a Switch, and that would be a great game to play. But I think that I would want to play with someone else who's doing actual gaming content consistently and just be on in the background with them. But to do it on my own, I just don't know if I'd be able to handle that. Michael Martinez says, really enjoyed your discussion with the Flick Pick about the Joker and the Batman. Well, thank you, man. Yeah, if you have not seen that, go check out the Flick Pick channel. If you want to see, there's a clip on the Flickpick channel right now. It's either on the Flickpick channel or his personal channel, John Flickinger. I think it's on the Flickpick channel. And it's me and John talking about what we think is going to happen with the future of Joker and Batman. It's a very good discussion. John's great, and it was a lot of fun. Wingster says, Odin, how is your Switch doing? I also recommend the Crash and Spyro remastered collections for it. They are faithful and very colorful games following the spirit of the 90s classics. Yeah, so I've been playing nonstop Breath of the Wild. I literally have now beaten 3 of the Guardians, which is huge for me because I've been struggling a lot with this. But it's because I took the effort out. I went to all the shrines that I could. I was able to get the Master Sword. Having the Master Sword has made everything so much easier. I was able to take out these Guardians so much more easily. It's been great. And I've been having a lot of fun with it. So still got a little ways to go, but I'm having fun. Oscar Carly says, I tried to put Odin question. Oh, it's all good. And then Wingster, also I'd recommend a 64 or 125. Yeah, I got a 128 SD card for all of my stuff. Hyper says, YouTube is acting weird all of a sudden. I'm trying to send you a comment and it immediately disappears. Weird stuff. Yeah, I don't know what's going on with that. I saw that comment. I don't know what's going on. Lance Lada says, thank you. I will pray. Absolutely, man. And I will pray for you, right? So anytime anyone asks me to pray for them on the channel, all the time, because I've been doing the Liturgy of the Hours recently. And so I always keep people that ask me to pray for them in my prayers. So definitely will keep you in my prayers, man. Anyway, we're at the hour and a half mark. Things are slowing down. I know that there's a lot of other streams going on right now, so let's just go ahead and call it, man. Yeah, YouTube sucks, Poppington. I agree with you for sure. So thank you so much for being here tonight. Let me just go ahead and pull up some stuff real quick. I'm going to have to make a TeePublic then, since Teespring seems to be acting up a little bit, because I want to be able to track these things, right? If someone says that they bought a shirt, I want to be able to know that they bought a shirt, right? Because as you see, I don't price my shirts for profit. You know, I don't do that. I try and keep it as low to cost as I possibly can, because I think it's a great design, and I would like for people to support the channel in that way. By repping the channel, not by paying the channel, but by repping the channel. But anyway, let me give a huge shout out to my Patreon supporters for the month of October. Animation commentator Baptist702, Brian P., Dion, Edward Coleman, Elizabeth M., Enrique Evangelista, Entertainment Hacker, Father Christopher Miller, all hail Father, Frank the Tank and the Shaw Hayward Dog Clan, Harold Francis, the Hunka Chunka Funky Monkey, Inflamed Wood, Trap Productions, Jason Clark, Jeffrey Toon, JJ Jonathan Jarenbeck, Mad Mitch Dunaway, Mr. Peabody and his evil twin, Orange Chat Reviews, Outpost Dyer, Patrick Layden, Perpetual Punster, Riff Magos, Rosetta Allen, Sir Lancelato, Theodore Benden, The DJD Show, Those Two Bald Guys, US Dutch Kitty, and What an ABC. You guys are all amazing and beautiful people. And also a huge shout out to my subscribe star peeps. We're going to be having giveaways soon. I know that we have not had any major giveaways, but it's because there's been no real good movies that have come out recently on 4K or Steelbook that have been worthy enough to do giveaways on the channel. But we are going to be doing a big giveaway soon. And if not, we'll do a bunch of smaller giveaways. But I've fallen behind on that. We actually, Dean Heiss, if you're still listening on DLive, Dean Heiss, I know that you've been here tonight. Dean Heiss, you won the Logan 4K. So email me so that way I know where to send it to. I sent you a message through Subscribestar that you never got back to. Subscribestar is great for a lot of things. For one, it's a Patreon alternative, but it doesn't seem to be very good at notifications. So Dean Heiss, you won the Logan giveaway from like 2 weeks ago. So just email me so that way I can send you the copy of it. Congratulations, by the way. Anyway, let me give a shout out to my my Subscribestar subscribers. Drunken Welfare Man, Mr. Roy, Box, History Girl Tina B, G2 Cool 99, Dark Star 57, Laura Story, Alice McCarthy, US 888209 Fast, Fan Addicts of Film, Dean Heiss, Harold Francis, J-Rod the Beer Guru, Nebanon G. Adams, and ZK-Man. Thank you so much for being amazing and beautiful people. You are fantastic. Let me jump back over real quick. Dean Heiss, thank you for the claps, man. We got the OK symbol, which is now apparently a symbol of white hate. I don't get it. Dean Heiss says, I'm here, didn't see the message. Well, boom. You won, man. So just follow up with that, and that way I can send you that copy as soon as possible. Let me see any last-minute things over on YouTube. Super says, I'm not saying you have to do this, but if you're talking gaming content, I'd totally watch you and Freya or the Valks play Mario Kart. That's one game I love to play, and that's one game I'd be happy to play. Someone said, toss it. I know who you are. And here you go. Done. All right. It was a bad toss because if I throw it too hard, it's going to wake up my dogs that are in the other room, and I don't want Freya to be mad at me. Super says, also one last question. Think Joker will be acknowledged by the Academy? How successful do you think the endgame campaigns will be? Endgame campaigns, because they have a lot of money, will be successful. How successful? I'm not sure. At least a few nominations, and I would say at least one nomination outside of the technical categories. Joker should, if there's any justice in the world, be recognized, but the Oscars suck. And so the Wednesday Raven Awards, Joker's going to do very well at. And that's the only award show that matters. Alex Carthy says, God bless you, God bless you, good sir. Super says, thank you for hosting another awesome stream, my dude. Have a great night. You have a great night as well. Please stay tuned. As soon as I get my TeePublic store or whatever alternative store to Teespring up, I will do what I can. I think I'm going to send them a message just to ask, saying, hey, I know for a fact people have bought t-shirts, but they have not shown up here. What's going on? Because if they can fix it, I'd love to stay with them because I've never had issues with them in the past. But if not, I would love to have an alternative because I just want to be able to keep track of, who's buying what, right? Who's, how many people are supporting the channel. But also, do I need to make new shirts? Do I need to update the design, right? These are things that I can only know based on statistics that I just don't have access to. But anyway, you guys are freaking out. Rude Vince and Robo Slick. So Rude Vince, thank you for the follow. And Robo Slick, thank you very much for the ice cream donation. So, D-Live people, you stick around. I'll do what I normally do for you guys. YouTube people, you rock. Thank you so much to everyone that donated tonight. Thank you for watching. I know there's a lot of great streams going on right now. Apparently, Drunk 3PO and Nerdratic are streaming right now for a Justice for Anash stream. Go and support them with your views, with your likes, because they deserve it. Anyway, you guys are freaking awesome. I love you guys. Have a wonderful night. And as always, God bless.